Sophie Holloway.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Finally made it.
I know. I was actually thinking the only way I got you to do a goddamn podcast is on the brink of lockdown. And literally...
I know, that's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, it's the only time you were free. When everybody's work closed. And I was just like, oh, finally, Sophie's free now.
What do we do? Well, you still got me, so whatever.
I still got you. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers,
It's been a
Dom.
while since someone's had like a decent bevy with me on here too. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's good. Why is everybody a non-drinker or something?
No, I don't know. I think people just have like water and shit. I don't know. I'll probably need to go back and see who was the last. Actually, I did one with Brad and he wouldn't have a drink with me. And I had all these drinks and he wouldn't have one with me. He was, I know.
Really?
I know. Brad Green, you bastard.
What's going on, mate?
Mind you, he has made up for it since then.
I'm sure. Well, I can never pass down the espresso martini. It's just like a happy coffee.
Yeah, I know.
Extra happy.
I was surprised when you told me that you start with those.
I know, it's heavy, isn't it? I think it's because I treat it like a coffee.
Yeah. No, they're cool. We might need to get another batch up. I think I'm getting mine. Anyway, so podcast world. So when you think about a podcast, I know generally everyone hits you up about all this Rockette stuff, but
Yeah.
I really rate your journey, and I know we've been kind of hanging out for a while now,
Yeah.
hot second. Well, how old were you when you did all that electric safaris? That's the first time I ever met
Yes,
you.
back in the
New Year.
electric safari days.
That
think...
photo with you on the ground like that.
Oh, hold on. Can we not worry about what I was doing? What were you doing in that
I wasn't
photo?
there. No, I wasn't. That you were in the system before I was, and then I rocked up.
No.
Because I remember I rocked up.
Guys, I came before Corey Blake.
Yeah. So you've been around longer than me in terms of the whole PJG thing.
Yeah.
No, because I remember chatting with PJ. PJ came to the studio with a great big poster,
And I was on it.
and then I looked at the poster and I was just like, "Who's that one?" And then she's just like, "Oh, that's Sophie. Blah blah blah. You know, we're working with her."
I
as
think
well."
I was like, I don't want to quote the wrong age, but I was
Really?
16,
Yeah.
I reckon, 15 maybe.
Yeah.
I could have been younger, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say I was younger.
Yeah.
Like Hilton Dennis was in the
Yeah,
photo
yeah,
shoot,
yeah.
Laura Webb.
Christina Nuri.
Yes, Chris Lewis. We always joke about that, Chris and I, whenever I teach at the next step, we always joke
Yeah,
about
I forgot he was in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shocking haircut.
Oh,
didn't he?
horrible.
I need to go find a photo of that.
And I think and he was late.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing to the photo shoot. We'll never let him live down. Anyway, so electric safari days. Well, PJ used to dance at Langshaw's where I learned.
Yeah.
So then he became my jazz teacher for a little while there. I'm talking did my jump and jack flash jazz solo at 12.
I was watching your solo.
The one I posted
series,
today.
like-
How funny! I know, I couldn't help it. I guess when we kind of my first day of work this week got kind of cancelled. All I wanted to do was go to my mum's place and get my old videos. God knows why, I haven't watched them in years, and that was, my parents weren't very tech savvy, so there's not very much proper footage of me really young. That's kind of the youngest I get, that 11-year-old jazz solo.
Yeah.
Anyway, PJ used to teach me, and then I guess he started his electric safari and Jeep, and because I was one of the students that had trained forever, I got involved for a while there.
Yeah. So I remember seeing you on this poster and going, oh yeah. And
The poster girl.
The poster girl, and then because at the time I was still super not that keen on anything.
On dancing, you were just
just
there because you had to be there, but not because you necessarily wanted to be.
Well, just there because my friends were there. I've said it on a few of these. My parents didn't want me to dance. Even now, they're probably like, "Oh, if you just
go do something else,
just don't do this." Anyway, I'm in it now. Here I am.
It's so cute.
Yeah. So Paige, Paige rocked up, showed me the post, and I'm just like, yeah. So, but the reason why I kind of brought that up is because I know that our age group was a lot of big kind of figures now.
Yeah,
when we look at Kat, Lauren, and a lot of also the guys that were in Titties and Stephen Perez and all those people.
That generation.
They're all doing full time and you didn't. And I just love that you didn't do full time because I didn't do full time.
No, exactly.
Either.
And we're a minority.
Yeah. There's definitely a few of us, and it kind of shows that the few, I guess, qualities that you still need to make it. But you've always, I know, technically. But again, if you looked at you at the age where you were to go into full time, did you really need to work on your dance? You really didn't do. You had a great product.
That was the biggest. I remember sitting down, actually having a meeting with PJ and Jeep in year 12, and it was pretty much a meeting about what are you going to do next year. And I had said, well, I'm going to Brent Street to audition for full time because that was kind of the only major school that at the time. And I told him I was going to the audition, which I did go to, and it was the same year that Cameron Mitchell had his performing arts course and Jason Winters had his brand new contemporary course. And when you auditioned, you were technically auditioning for both. And then I had a meeting at the end, and they were fighting over which course, like trying to drag me into which course they wanted me to go to. So I pretty much presented that to PJ and said, you know, I've got these two options. They both really were interested in me training. And then I also had my studio owner, Bernadette Langshaw, telling me that I didn't need to go to full time. And then I had PJ saying, well, I'm happy to represent you or continue representing you with Jeep. I feel like your product is ready to work. And he said, if you go out and do the full-time thing, you're not going to be able to work because you're going to be paying a full-time fee. And you're not going to want to take days off to do jobs and go to auditions when you're paying for a course. And like you said, dancing wise, I think I was in a really great place. I was already a little bit ahead of the game and mature for my age, and, you know, had a lot of other credentials behind my name, like ballet exam results and performance experience, and even the smallest things, like I'd been in a chorus shoe, like dancing in a chorus heel, since I was 12. Whereas now I'm teaching full-timers at 18 who've never put one on before.
And it's called a heels class.
Well, let's not even get involved. Let's not even go there yet. Not that I'm against a heels class, but
no.
But people have to ask me, which heel do you mean? And the first one that comes to my head is a chorus shoe, but the first one that comes to the young generation's head is a stiletto. But that's a trend thing. I can't blame them for that.
No.
But like stiletto heels wasn't really a class.
Well, you didn't dance. Really.
Well, you didn't train.
You didn't train, no.
Maybe you worked in that because you were professional and old enough, but you didn't go to classes for that at 16.
Yeah, and I feel like the choreo didn't change because of the footwear you were using. You just had to make it work.
100%. Similar to why my teacher put me in a shoe at 12 or 13, because she was like, if you can be in a point shoe and do a ballet class, why can't you do my jazz choreo in a chorus heel?
Yeah, well, I remember teaching, it's probably a few years ago now, at ETS. It was their first week of full-time, and I taught them in a jazz shoe, and I said, okay, now everyone go put your heels on. And they've gone, oh, I didn't know this was a heels class. I thought, well, fuck, no, it's just a dance class. I've gone, now I just want to see if you can do it in your heels.
It wasn't meant to be different.
But we go to the floor and all that. I'm just like, I know you go to the floor. I've worked with a ton of girls and I see them do some crazy shit in a heel. Like, they don't just need to be standing, you know?
Well, even now on gigs as a professional, everybody rehearses not in the shoe that you're going to perform in. Not that I necessarily think that's a good thing, but the nature of rehearsals is everybody turns up in their sneaker, learns the whole gig in a sneaker or a barefoot, and then you put the heel on for the job, and that's the old school, like you're saying. The choreo was never going to change. Like I did a square division gig last week for Katy Perry, and we didn't wear our heels for the duration of rehearsal.
You don't get an email going, hey girls, this is going to be a heels gig.
So prepare yourself. No, you want to dance, doesn't matter what shoe you're in.
But mind you, it is pretty cool though that I guess it's a way that people have marketed and branded it, that there is now, I think, a heels class, which is kind of cool, which, you know, I'm not against, but it's just funny now that is its own thing, where once upon a time it was never a thing. It was just...
Well, I don't know if this is a bad thing or not, but I've never taken a heels class. I'm 26 and I've never taken a heels class in my life, ever, but I've done countless gigs in some kind of a heel. So I'm being booked on gigs that require a heel, but I've never taken a class on how to do that. So that goes all the way back to the training, like you were saying. When I was at that full-time age, I didn't need that extra training. Nowadays, I tell every single person that I teach in full-time, because I teach hundreds across the country every year. Yes, that was a different time, and it wasn't even that long ago. Like, I'm not that old.
I hate saying it was a different time because
realistically, that was me 8 years ago.
I'm starting to sound real old.
But we're not even old.
I know we're not old, but
it's a trend thing. And a generation thing, I guess.
But your fun fact though is that your dance teacher started her studio with my mum.
I know.
Yeah, crazy.
That's why we've always been connected in another way.
Yes, that's a little fun.
I mean, Bernie used to talk about your mum in my classes, and I didn't even know who she was, but I feel like I always knew who she was because Miss Glenda was somebody that Miss Bernie just always referred to, like I was supposed to know who she was.
Yeah, big time. And that's
and look at us now.
Now we're just chilling.
Now we're in Miss Glenda's house.
now we're in Miss Glenda's house. But your training, introducing that again is just kind of in the blueprint. But also, I kind of point that, why do you think, I mean, I think I know why, but when PJ said you're ready, it probably, for me, wasn't your dancing that was ready, because a lot of people's dancing are ready. Obviously, you were carrying yourself a little bit differently than, a lot of people at your time. You were able to conduct a conversation with someone like PJ going, these are my options, what should you think? Where a lot of people would probably maybe just say to their agent, I'm doing full-time.
You're so right.
They wouldn't open their mind up to go, what do you think? Which I think...
Well, it's almost taken me this long to realise that, because now I look back at, for example, at footage of myself at that age, and I think, wow, I wasn't really that good. But not that I was bad, but compared to people that age now, I wasn't as advanced in terms of versatility. Yes, I think I was always advanced, but style and people's skill set and things like that, I wasn't in that place, in that dance place that was really advanced. It was exactly what you're talking about. My mindset, my headspace, my mannerisms, even the way I held myself, the way I conduct myself, the way I would talk, have conversations, and it goes even like as simple as, how do you learn in a classroom? What kind of a learner are you? What kind of a dancer are you? Not stylistically, but mentally and like intelligence.
Yeah, and knowing PJ as I do, him saying, I think you're ready now, means that you get the whole arrive on time, how you got to dress, how you got to speak when you're chatting. I think it's those things, and that's really a big thing when people, I think when they say, oh, you probably need to go away and just kind of like grow up, have some life experiences 100%. And all that, you could probably knuckle that out in about half an hour, just saying, hey, how about you just think of your outfit before you walk out the door and just look like a professional. And as soon as you look like a professional, that's when people go, oh, you don't need life experience because obviously you've got your shit together. So I think that.
And then I had then it gave me the chance to get that life experience a little bit quicker than other people my age who had to go through some more training before they could do that.
You jumped on the cruises, right?
Yeah. So January, I always tell this story, like January comes around, everybody's going off to full time. What am I doing? I'm at Gloria Jeans making bad cappuccinos. And literally.
Yeah, dope.
Gloria Jeans making cappuccinos, teaching babies classes at my dancing school, and going to whatever open class or audition that I could go to.
I was the same, only I was at Rebel Sport.
There we go.
Yeah.
And waitressing. Like literally, that was, kids these days, some people get into the dance industry and have never worked a regular job before, besides teaching. In their entire life, like they've never done anything else. So I started full time. My full time was going to Gloria Jeans to earn money, to pay for the clothes that you wanted to wear to the next audition that you got asked to go to. And then I managed to book a cruise ship contract by May. So just a couple of months had to go by where I had to do that with my time. And just be mature and stick to my guns and know that it was the right decision.
And I always see some students that I've taught in the past, and say I might see them working at a shoe store, or I might see them waitressing, and there's a part of them that you can see sometimes they kind of die a little bit, where they go,
when you catch them,
they go, oh my god, you've seen me work. But you worked at a cafe. I worked at Rebel Sport. Now I didn't go away on a cruise ship. Again, I had a cruise ship there, and I also had Moulin Rouge there, and I said no to it. Hindsight, I kind of wish I said yes, especially to the Moulin. Yeah, I think to the Moulin. My cousin.
That European life?
Yeah, my cousin was in it for 20 years, and I just think it would have been a cool feather in the cap. Now thinking, I don't know if I'm just, again, thinking a little bit beyond my years, but I'm thinking, it would be cool if I'm sitting on my deathbed one day and I think about, that time I used to kick a leg in the Moulin. Like, I think memories like that, and I know you've that's why I've always admired your travel, where you've taken the cruise ships, you persisted at the Rockettes. Like, you're going to be extremely happy, I think, when you're, you're going to sit there and just go, fuck, what a life, hey?
I mean, you're your toughest critic, and I always wish that I had get to the end of every year, and I'm always patting myself on the back, but there's another part of me that says, wow, you could have done more. But that's like a personality trait of mine.
Yeah.
And then I compare myself to, say, other people that I think I'm as talented as.
Yeah.
And then I go, yeah, but they don't have that experience of living in New York, and they didn't go on a cruise ship and live overseas, and you know, they haven't done that. So yeah, they're richer in other things, but I'm richer in experience or memories.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time that people, you know, while you're doing those things, again, they're confined to a certain blueprint, which is teaching, working better on the craft, where, you know, you were kind of picking your straps up. But when I look at these people in their work environments that they're working in, and I think you're just showing more of a work ethic. I really kind of like that.
Which you can't teach. Like I'm going, you know, as a teacher, every single week I'm trying to drill what work ethic is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you'll never really understand it until you're living it.
Yeah.
Until you're turning up at rehearsals every day, no matter how tired your body is. When a dance captain that maybe sometimes you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, not that it happens very often, but I have, you know, we've all been in positions where there's somebody above us that we haven't.
Oh, you clashed with.
Haven't thought was the most talented or necessarily the most professional, but at the end of the day, they're our boss in that moment.
You just gotta suck it up.
And you suck it up and do it.
Yeah.
And that's all part of the work ethic thing. Like, I guess kids are lucky they have so many great teachers that they're inspired by, but one day they're going to be on their dream job, but not be inspired by the person in front of them.
Yeah.
But thinking that they were going to be.
Yeah.
The job itself is inspiring, but it's not always every single time that the people that you have to work with are going to be the be all and end all of what you expected. So that's part of work ethic, like the sucking it up part.
Yeah.
Also just like working hard and doing it again and again and again. Like I had that teacher that never gave me any positive feedback.
Oh no.
And as a kid, it used to eat me alive sometimes. Like I remember I used to go home to my mum sometimes and say, Mom, like my teacher she never told me I was good, or she told everybody else they were good but never told me. Did it ever stop me from working harder?
No.
And the only person I would ever tell that to is my own mum.
Yeah.
I would never say that to anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now my mum will say to you, remember that?
Yeah.
And that's why you are the way you are today.
Well, I mean, you're, as you know, we said at the top of this that, like my mum was also the same thing as your dance teacher. So, I'm same boat. Like I very rarely I remember once when I was dancing, I remembered an old troupe or something, because I actually used to practice my ass off. I was never that good. But
even at home?
I used to practice. I tore my hip flexor. I tore my hip flexor and broke my foot. No. I was injured and I couldn't dance. And I put my crutches to the side, and I'm still trying to get choreo out of my living room. Yeah, I'm still, because I wanted to remember it and all that type of thing. But I remember my mum I could count on one hand, just the same kind of bread. Like she's always, and to my detriment, I know I can sometimes be like that as a teacher.
No,
even if I see something good, I'm like, well, that is good. You're meant to be doing that. Like now let's work on half the other shit that you didn't get right, because, which I think kids now.
In the 2020 generation.
But I say kids now, but that was a while ago, and you still went home to mum's just going, I wish
it was a long time ago, but like I said, I would only ever say that to my mum, and my mum said, oh, well, she's the dance teacher and she knows what's best.
Yeah.
Whereas, and like that wasn't my mum's forte, so she wasn't going to argue with the dance teacher.
Yeah.
And she still knew I was one of the better ones in the class. So because I wasn't getting told I was great, it didn't matter, because I think that built my character of wanting to work hard.
Parents deep down, I think they know. Like,
that's what I mean. I think my parents
you can
knew.
argue till the cows come home. I'm actually really lucky. At our studio, I don't have any parents at the moment that complain about where their child, not to my face anyway, maybe I might say something behind my back.
But that's the respect of your parents too.
Yeah, and deep down, and I remember even when I was still dancing,
when you were a kid,
deep down, I know that I wasn't put in the front row because I wasn't goddamn good enough. Well,
unfortunately, kids don't. Some kids don't know that anymore.
Yeah, and you can't really say that. You can't go, look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, are you better than that front row?
And also, if their parents not aware that their kid's not the best one, then what
one.
do? Your hands are tied.
Yeah.
So I guess my parents knew I was good, and the fact that my teacher wasn't telling me I was the best one in the class every day, I think they knew that's why I was good.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to argue with her.
No.
Or me.
And finally as well, I mean, I'm glad that we're getting the podcast, but finally you were actually taught at my parents' dance studio too, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And I asked the kids as soon as you left.
Oh no, what did they say?
I just went, okay, what did we learn? And they've gone, oh, you know, we just learnt, you know, like stay hungry and, you know, if you want to, I've gone, oh yeah, I know, but you guys knew that shit anyway. And they're like, yeah, but you know, but they loved it. They just came out of, you know, your mouth and stuff like that. But the big thing was hunger. And when you were chatting, I think about when you were working in the cafe.
Yeah.
No, if I think about what you just said, working in the cafe, if you didn't get that cruise ship, when you did,
yeah.
you were willing to work in that cafe for as long as it took, as long as it kind of kept you in the game to do. And I think people, and why I was thinking about where people work in a store and all that, and they go, oh, he probably thinks I'm not doing very well. I was like, no, you're keeping yourself above water to let your
so
life...
that you can do well.
So, and when they say stay hungry, I think I know when people, like you working in a cafe, that's actually being hungry, not working your ass off in dance class, because that's a given.
Yeah.
You should be doing that shit anyway, because if you're not, then fuck.
Well, I mean, some people are fortunate that they don't have to live a life where they need to earn a wage.
Yeah.
When they don't have one. Like, and I was never that kid, so the hunger is different.
Yeah.
But that goes, the hunger that you're talking about, when I decided to finish cruise ships, I only did 2 years, well, 2 contracts, which took a span of 2 years, I guess. I decided to come home because I was like, axe the cruise ships, tick that box, next box, I want to do more things. I knew, I'd seen that the cruise ship industry was full of people that could never get out of it.
Yeah,
right?
There was a shocking reputation or stigma around people that did do.
So this is what I told your kids when I had them at the time.
There was a
I said,
shocking reputation.
every single person
used to turn their nose up at it.
Turned around to me and said, Sophie, you're better than cruise ships. Don't do one of them. And I said, well, you're not handing me a job on a silver platter, are you?
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do? I'm serving coffees at Gloria Jean's. I think I'd rather go on a cruise ship right now.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I mean, that was at a time, and then those same people 5 years later were taking cruise ship contracts.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily those individuals, but that stigma of people.
Yeah. I thought it was really, and even like, and probably to my detriment, and I kind of wish that I took it, but when these auditions would come through, I go, you know, Corey, you know, you
because it wasn't
really
cool.
thing, and I was just like, there was this weird thing where it was just like, oh, if you go on a cruise ship, it's just like you can't work. So
it was
you
like
might
the daggy dancers who aren't going to book.
Yeah, you might, but the quality of the shows that are on there, though, I think we are so uneducated in that world. I think we're more educated now.
Well, the thing is, too, every person who goes on a cruise ship goes overseas to work on one in the States. So if you go on a cruise out of Australia, sometimes the shows aren't of the same quality at all that they are in the States. Because going on a cruise ship in America is almost like a luxury holiday. Whereas here in Australia, it's like a P&O 3-day cheap booze cruise
Come
situation.
back with coronavirus, shocking.
Exactly. But over there, that's like Americans, a lot of them don't leave the country for a holiday because they don't need to.
Yeah.
So they get on a cruise. So it's the same quality as a Broadway show. If they can't go to New York to see a Broadway show, they'll get on a cruise ship. Yeah. So I learned that being a part of it, but when I came home from the cruise ships, then that hunger started all over again, because I was the girl who had been gone for 2 years, that I knew I had a reputation in Australia, but I just disappeared. So not that my skills had deteriorated at all, but my reputation, like anything, we're in this tiny little small congested industry. You got to be the person standing at the front of the line for everything. So you think you dance started back on television. I auditioned, didn't even make top 100.
Right. What season was that?
Michael Domesky's season.
Oh, so the last one.
What year that was, but the last one, because there was such a big gap in that time.
Yeah.
It was the only one that I was ever going to be eligible
for, because we're all young.
Yeah. So I didn't make top 100.
Yeah.
That was like taking a dagger at the time. Not that I thought I was really good, but I didn't think I was that bad.
and not that I want to get into your down points, but I need people to realize that you've had a lot more down points than probably people think. Now, I know you've had down points just for ways that, you know, jobs that you've gone for, jobs that we've seen that have gone up, and like, I always think when I see a bunch of girls on a thing, and like, I always think, okay, I know who I would put on that, and then I think of the girls that are on there, and I'm there going, the fuck, how did you overlook that person? So, and I know you're way too humble to say anything like that, but I know that you still hurt as much as any other dancer coming up the ranks, because you still have goals as a dancer.
Well, that's where the hunger comes from. Exactly right. I'm always hungry, so I didn't make top 100, and then pretty much, so you think dance was the biggest thing happening in Australia, in the industry at the time, and I could not bear to be in the country and not be a part of it, because it was eating me alive. So then my mum said, well, what about that Rockettes thing? Like, I didn't know a lot about it, but it was a thing in New York, and so I jumped on a plane and went to the audition. And that was 7 years ago, and now I've been a Rockette for that long. And even getting that job was a whole other step, like between getting a visa and even being eligible to turn up at the audition, and like all of those things that go along with having to move overseas for a job like that. But again, even for the past 7 years, I've gone and done the Rockettes thing, which yes, technically is like up here in the ranks of like a great job. Very easy for people to box you into, again, put you in the cruise ship box, put you in the Rockette box, even for other people in this industry, put you in the musical theatre box, put you in the commercial box, like almost like you can't do anything else. Just because you succeed at one genre.
Oh man, I feel you hard. Everyone just thought I was a model there for a while.
Totally. And you're like, what do you mean? I've been dancing my whole life.
And then after then, you go to a class and you smash it, and people go, fuck man, you can dance. So I was just like, you asshole. Yes, I can dance, you bastard. I've been doing this for a while.
I was actually doing that before I modeled.
I know, but no, I feel you,
So same thing, I come home and like I spend, not so much now, but maybe in the first 2 or 3 years of being a Rockette, I was leaving the country for 4 months and then having to come home, and you have to reestablish yourself every time. Like just because you've been overseas, yes, it does make you more employable because you've been working professionally in such a grand scale show like that, and in New York and in America, and for Australians, everyone's hungry for a part of that. But then, like I said, there's people who've been waiting in line to be the next booked dancer in Australia at the same time. So I'm competing with that, and the trends that happen here that I'm not a part of when I'm gone. Even if it's like a choreographer trend or like a style trend, or who was booked on the last job. I mean, we're even guilty as people who choreograph and book now. We sometimes, it's a natural human thing to use the last person that you used because they did a good job. Now, if I wasn't the last person they used because I've been gone for 4 months, who said I wasn't going to be the better choice? But I wasn't around.
I think there's a beauty now though that we're still able to be. There's just like social media and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I mean.
Really,
first couple of years of Rockette, social media wasn't as big a thing.
It wasn't a thing as what it was now. Now you could be anywhere in the world, and you've got so much content now that you can still stay.
You still be relevant. You still stay relevant no matter what country you're in. If anything, you're more in demand because, like I said, people want a piece of what you were a part of that they couldn't be a part of.
I guess it's something that you're appreciating now because we didn't have that, and now you do have that. But
that's a whole tool. Social media is a whole tool now that needs its own lessons. Like I've learnt on the job. That sounds funny, but like how to be an influencer, how to use social media. How I hate that I even just called myself an influencer, but I can't not. I don't want to refer to myself as that, but I know that I am because that's the power of social media. Everybody's an influencer, regardless of how big their following is, because what we put out to the world can be influenced by people around us. So, but like learning how to use that tool to my advantage, like I have conversations with people all the time about like even the simple things like Instagram, like how do you keep up with that? How do you upkeep your profile on that? Like it's a whole other job that you don't get paid for.
I had to delete one, I couldn't do it, and I was just like, I'm out.
It's a whole other thing that you don't necessarily get paid for, but you get paid back in other ways, both positive and negative.
It's just
so the way you navigate.
It was just so consuming, and I was just overthinking things, and I was just like, I still have a number of social media accounts through the dance studio and the agency and all that type of thing. But it's definitely something people have to think about. And if you are going to use it as a marketing tool, make it squeaky clean.
You have to do it right.
You got to commit to that. But I think what I also really want people to get out of this podcast is and if we touch on your social media, you've got such a big following there, And a lot of people have no idea who you are. Like they see your amazing classes, they see these great shots.
But they still don't know who I am, yeah.
Still don't know who you are. So there's a bit of that. And I just want people to realise that now you still have goals. And even though your goals are going to be different to the person's goals.
I barely reached any goals in my own mind.
Yeah.
And that scares me because I'm 26 and I'm like, wow, if I haven't even reached the goals I wanted to reach, then how much more time do I have to reach them? Not that I think my dancing career has an expiry date on it.
Okay, so I
don't feral brow me.
No. So I just think, what goals? What goals do you have? Because I look at your career.
What career? See, that's my mindset.
Right. Okay. Well,
but is that bad?
Obviously, obviously there's a career there. I mean,
of course there's a career, and I don't want to talk myself down so that people don't think I'm inspired anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know that I am, and I know that things I've done are
but
very.
Obviously, you're still working towards stuff. So what are you? Because I think people are always relatable. Like even a celebrity.
I'll tell you what I'm working towards.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What are you working towards?
I probably can't put it into dot form. There's not specific titles. It's not like I'm here to win a competition and win a trophy.
No.
But as a choreographer, I want to be. Well, there's choreographer goals, and then there's dancer goals, and then there's personal goals.
As a choreographer, which a lot of people know that you take a killer open class, but you want to really push that over to choreography.
Yeah, so we call people a choreographer in such a general way these days, and yes, I just called myself a choreographer then because as a job I choreograph. But what's the scale? What's the scale that I choreograph on?
What do you choreograph?
Exactly. Well, yes, I choreograph for dance studios, so that's not the same level as a choreographer who choreographs a movie.
Yeah.
Or a television show.
So we really need subtitles to this category.
Which nobody's established. Yeah. But everyone's calling themselves a choreographer these days. And I'm not going to not call myself one because I do that for a living.
Yeah.
But it's on what scale do you do it as. So I suppose as a choreographer, I want to up
your
scale.
Subtitle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So...
Which is cool.
People like Mandy Moore are like my biggest inspirations. Like choreographing continually for Dancing with the Stars in the States and La La Land and... the movie and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
People like that. And then there's a whole corporate commercial choreographer similar to Square Division and people like that I work with. A New Grand Collective, Mitch Woodcock, that's being a choreographer as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a choreographer, but I'm not at those levels. That's my goals.
Yeah.
People don't see that. People don't see that they're stepping stones for people like me. Because they think I'm cool and they like the way I dance. But that doesn't mean I don't have so many other places to push towards. As a dancer, that's the hard part because I'm tackling being a choreographer and being a dancer. So how much energy do you give to both of those things because they're both so full? And how long can I try to push both of those?
That's a massive one. And even if we just, if we kind of step back from how I always think this entertainment industry is who can stick at it the longest, and this is why I admire again those people who are working at a cafe, working at a shoe store, working at a sports store, wherever the hell you're working, because you're giving yourself that time to stay in this as long as possible, because sometimes it's a waiting game. You just have to wait till it's your time, or you have to go, okay, I need to
100%.
wait. I need to keep working, and you got to wait. And as you said, choreography. And if we look at, say, Newground, now, in terms of, I'm good buddies with Mitch.
Yes.
But if I look at professionally, I admire the hell out of that guy.
It's ridiculous.
Because he's been prepping that shit for years.
Under the table without anybody knowing about it.
The game, and whether he, did a mood board or blue or wrote it down, but his work ethic to get himself at a product
is admirable.
Oh man,
beyond
especially
admirable.
at his age, because he's 20,
age.
He's 27, 26,
our age.
20, nuts. And for him to be booking the level of jobs, and I just think as a true role model, he's
yeah, and he hates the spotlight, which is fine because that's his personality, but he has so much knowledge to offer to inspire, which I feel like he will probably go down that road maybe a little bit later, but right now he's just working on it.
And here's another one where people think of him as one thing, and luckily enough,
you take a dance class with him?
Yeah.
But some people are.
But you have a drink with him, and he's a completely different guy.
Yeah.
And that beautiful, warm thing that he has. Oh, it's so cool. Like
Totally.
I love everything that he. And I'm such a fan of his. Like personally, but also from a career point of view. But yeah.
Well, like people like that, and if he's my age roughly, and like the things that he's achieved in that window, I'm nowhere even close to that.
Yeah.
So they're kind of my goals to push further than where I'm at. But then as a dancer, I want to continue to push that too. So trying to have my eggs in so many baskets is, I mean, it's entertaining and it's fun and it keeps me engaged, but it's hard balancing.
Yeah. But your skills that you've learned up until now are going to help you. Like if you look at, say, if we use Mitch as an example, commercially, he's worked a bit, but he's always hasn't been able to probably work as much as he'd like. Number one, because of his height, and that's why I love him being in town, because he used to match me really well. But when he was big musical theatre, so while he was working musical theatre, he had this on the side.
He was doing commercial stuff on the side.
Exactly. Yeah. But which for you, I mean, like it's probably nothing to. Again, it's probably why we need these subcategories in choreography. Like I don't think there's anything to steer away from or frown upon the amount of teaching work and the amount of income that has brought you and your reputation now as a dance teacher.
As a dance teacher, though, that is like the cafe job for me now.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's just shifted.
It's keeping me being hungry. I'm very invested in it and I'm very passionate about it, but it's building me other skills to then go down those other professional paths of my own. And you need cash flow as an independent business to invest in your goals. If I don't teach every week, I can't invest money into my choreography and into me as a product. Finding the balance though, how much teaching is too much teaching when you don't have any time or energy, that's probably one of my biggest things personally. Like people always say to me, oh my God, Sophie, you never stop. Like you're an Energizer bunny, you never have any time, you never have any hours.
I've said that to you a couple of times.
Okay, everyone has. I actually think to some people it's admirable, and to other people
I admire it,
it's admirable, but it's also one of my biggest downfalls.
Yeah.
Because it means that I have trouble. I'm not gonna say I don't, because I'm getting better and better at it every day. But that work ethic means that other parts of my life suffer and other parts of me suffer. But it's also admirable because I'm so persistent and so driven and so motivated. So my work is great because of that. Finding the balance, but that's every performer. Some people are really, really good at going to class and really bad at creating work for themselves. Oh, I mean, now you're going to be, I guess now because you've got your teaching in place, I mean, God knows where the world is at the moment. But once we come out of this, and like that, as much highly I was chatting about Mitch, and there's a few choreographers I can speak as highly to that, I can speak that highly about your teaching, and that's why I thought it was so good that you taught. So I guess that's something when people think that, I want to be a choreographer, I think if you look at Sophie with the way that you've built up your teaching, because the amount of income that type of thing brings in, I think it's probably the most consistent thing going out there. Well, just kept me alive.
From a consumer's point of view, though, it's just basically who's cooler and who's not. Now that you are making that transition, and it's a cool analogy you made that now you're teaching, you're still going to hustle as hard, but that's now going to give you time to
because for a long time I had to work really hard at being a good teacher.
That's such a skill, hey?
Which I talked about with somebody earlier this morning.
But to be a good teacher, don't you think?
That's what I mean.
Because a good dancer isn't a good teacher.
No. And some dancers are not going to be great dancers, but they're going to be better teachers. And some amazing dancers can't teach to save their life.
I quite proudly say that I think I'm a better teacher, and all the choreographic stuff that I've done, I find I can get a better product than that rather than me actually dancing. Like I mean, obviously, I can still kick a leg as a dancer, but I think I can produce a better product from a client point of view if I'm actually behind the camera looking at it all, because I have had experience in front of it. So I think you really got to know your role. And just a lot of these young guys that come out there and go, I'm a teacher, fresh out of full time, going to a dance studio.
You should be teaching babies. That's who you should be teaching.
Oh man,
And that's the stuff that people don't know. Like, maybe I'm one of the hottest, coolest teachers on the block right now. For years, I taught the worst quality, or the beginners, or the babies, or the small classes that had 10 people in it, and nobody knows that because nobody was following me on Instagram to see who I was teaching that week. Like that wasn't a thing.
And that's and I think your teaching, as much as your choreography is amazing, it's the way that you get it across which really...
Well, that's what makes you a good teacher.
Yeah, and it's through teaching. I mean, I've got a teacher at my mum and dad's studio. Her name's Miss Nikki, and there was a period there where she was really working to become a professional dancer, and she's still got the ability to do it, if I'm honest. But she has taught our babies for so long, and now I
commend all those people out there that teach babies.
But she's such a good teacher now. I've only noticed it. I've noticed it for a while, but I realised it again when I was filming our episodes for what we have to do now. And I saw the way that she was explaining her articulation. She's currently doing her RAD ballet and all that type of thing. And her skill set is going to be far greater than anyone that's just come fresh out of full-time because of all her years. Yeah. But yet, I look at some people, they might charge this, and I look at what you might charge. And I'm like, as a teacher, you're actually going to get a better product out of a lot of people that are going to, do all that.
Well, being a good teacher has taken a long time, and I'm still learning every single time because whenever I get in front of a bunch of students, they're a different bunch of students.
Every school's got their own taste.
So I'm really as good as my product. So I have to adapt my teaching ways to my class every single time. I have to try something different.
How do you deal with that? Because I know you've kind of pulled back a little bit, but your routines have gone on a number of studios. When you sit back, and there's a lot of different studios that they've formed, like the studios are completely different.
Well, I can always keep to my own choreographic style, but I'm only going to get the best routine out of the kids or the young adults based off what their strengths are. So I have to adapt my choreographic style to every school for their own strengths. I can't put the exact same steps on they could look different on 5 groups of kids. And I mean, that's what keeps me engaged because every time I go to create, it's not A, B, C, D, do these steps. That's my style. Put that on those kids. Put this music. And I experiment because I know every bunch of kids I'm working with is different. So then I can change my style according to them. Also, that's one of the hardest parts about being a sole trader, contracted dance teacher, is every single person I work for has a different morals, different values, different expectation, and then I have my own.
Because I think you're how do you deal with that? Because I know, at Mum and Dad's studio, where I get it, probably you would work well in the blueprint because you're Bernese girl. But if you look at some other studios, because I know I can be way too heavy-handed and direct for some studios. I go in there, I go, holy shit, no one has actually corrected these kids, I feel, properly ever in my world. How do you, because you're quite, when I came, I ducked into your class and you were teaching the kids like you had taught them for a while. Like you were quite, no, we kind of need to do this. And you were really kind of giving feedback, which shows your teaching background. Have you had to pull your ropes in a little bit when you go, holy shit, this studio's not from my world?
Well, I like to think, going all the way back to what PJ says, I have a good judge of character. I know how to
adapt,
hold myself in a room and adapt. So I always come into a studio being me, like the product of Sophie Holloway, the teacher, the best version of me, and then I am very quick to decide what works best, and that's my own skills. I like to give a lot of feedback. If my feedback's not taken on board straight away, well, then I know that I'm gonna have to change my teaching ways because they're not getting what I'm saying. So also the young generation in general don't thrive off discipline like our generation did.
Yeah, they really don't, hey?
They don't. So as much as I want to say, hey, that wasn't your best, do it again, that doesn't work with every bunch of kids. That works with 2 kids in the room. The 2 kids that want to be in the front row, that want to be in the front center, it works on them.
I struggle so
Majority of the room, it doesn't work on them.
And this is where I think, do I teach this as a business, or do I teach this as the level that I want to get from someone?
I know. Well, that's
kills me some ways.
Well, because I work for other people's businesses, I have to keep in mind, this is their business.
Yeah.
This isn't my business.
Yeah.
This is my classroom.
Yeah.
And my teaching and my choreography and my lesson.
Yeah.
But not my business.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I say to kids is I'm fun, like as a personality outside of dancing. I'm fun, I'm outgoing, I like to be silly, I like to have a laugh. I'm not very serious.
No.
But the minute I walk into a dance studio, it's very serious because I take this seriously.
Yeah.
But you will get the fun, happy, jokey version of me if you work hard.
If you work,
And the minute that they see that,
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm not. Well,
Siri?
I understand Siri. Siri's just like, well, back up. Wait, what? Did you say you're fun but you're not in the same sentence?
Literally. So pretty much, I give a little, and then
bloody hell.
I get a little back.
I'll have so much fun with you if you work your ass off.
Yeah.
If you don't, this is gonna suck.
Well, that's my first two lines.
Yeah.
No, I don't directly say that at all. I actually just test the waters.
Yeah.
So I have fun with them, and then I tell them, no, you can't laugh with me because you just didn't take the correction.
Yeah.
And then I take it away from them,
and
then I give it back.
I really struggle when I see kids laugh when they screw it up, because I
know. Doesn't it just?
I was like, what was funny? Why? What's funny?
I know. I find myself saying, "You're the only one laughing."
I know.
I said, "I'm not laughing. You're laughing."
Jesus.
And now I'm laughing at you because you're laughing at yourself.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's bad, hey. But it's cool that, I guess we can, the kids that you teach long enough. But I love that you said that, because I could echo that same sentence.
I'm
That's
like
exactly
that too.
how I am. If my students saw how I am
in regular life. They wouldn't take you seriously, would they?
No way.
Well, I like to give a little to get a little back.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I show them that that's been my personality my whole life, and I've worked really hard, but I can still have fun along the way as well. So can they. Yeah. Pretty much. But also because of the teaching and the way I was taught, I was never given the fun. So there's a little part of me that wants to give what I missed out on. Yeah, I'm starting to realise that a little bit. I never got that, and not that I ever thought I wanted it, but now it's part of me. I don't have to be a replica of my teacher.
No.
I need to use all those skills I learned and be me.
Yeah.
Same as a dancer. I don't want a kid that looks like a replica of me. I want a kid that looks like them, who's heard every single thing that I've said and put it on their body.
Yeah, that's a smart kid when you get one of those, though.
I don't want a clone of Sophie Holloway. No thanks. I want to get the job.
Yeah.
I don't want the next best Sophie Holloway.
Yeah.
I want somebody who's taken everything that they've learnt from me and made it them. Because that's what I am with my teachers.
Yeah,
my 5 or so.
I know there was probably a stage there where, definitely choreographically, I could see myself taking a lot of the shit that I was learning from Thanos at the time. And this was probably when I was about 20. Thanos at the time, I was doing 2 Marco classes a week. He's one at Triple Menace, then he's one at Sydney Dance.
Oh my gosh, yes, I definitely went to the Triple Menace one, and I was like 12 in the class.
Yeah, I loved it because it was, a lot of the times, it was the same choreo. So I could go and smash it at Triple Menace and then kill it in the Sydney Dance class.
Well, that's a smart kid, isn't it? That's a smart kid.
And then because I knew it took me a little while to pick up choreo at the time. Now I'm, grateful a little bit better. And Michael Boyd. So I knew that Marco's style was something that I could, it was a lot more relatable to a lot of people. And I saw that Thanos was fucking dancing like a, drunk monkey in the corner at the time. I couldn't do his shit.
I was going to those classes as well.
He's still a reason why I think I've got a bad back. And Michael Boyd was, he had his own little thing going as well. But those 3, I was taking all of that and
putting it into your own stuff.
Yeah, big time. So it's great when you see someone who has taken not only your class but taking still. I mean, Thanos is still very relatable with a lot of studios. Bartho's really good. So there's heaps of great teachers out there that people can take that little thing from. But
And to keep an open mind, I think that's the thing too, because trends are so easy to jump onto, and there's definitely people that like my class better than somebody else's because they like that style. But if you're a smart dancer, you'll start to like somebody else's class just as much for your own benefit. And keep remembering that. I mean, I keep trying to train. Sometimes it's daunting. I'll go to these other classes and every single person in the room is a student of mine. But like, I try to be the best example I can that I'm still learning and I'm still working my craft.
Can you relax in those? Because class for me used to be so fun. I used to go there and it's when I used to catch up with all my friends. And now I go there and I'm just like, oh my God.
No, I thrive off that.
Yeah.
At first, I'd be like, wow, I'm the only adult in the room and every single person here is my student.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten so used to it. I'm like, well, this is how it's going to be.
Kind of stuck.
This is how it's going to be. So you better suck it up, Sophie. Because you're not going to not go to class because of it, because that would be dumb.
Yeah, big time. And it's cool that, oh, wow. I hope people that listen to that, see, I know my mind relates to that. If I was young and I heard that, I was just like, well, damn, if Sophie's still going at it, I need to up my game up even more, because I just hope that people take that from you, and I just hope that people kind of receive everything from this podcast in a way that...
Well, it's hard to accept, but at the same time, like I said, the classes aren't changing and the people going to them aren't going anywhere. So if you want to stop yourself from learning just because you're afraid, this is aiming at people my age as well.
Oh, 100%. I'm like all ears right now.
If you want to stop yourself from going to class because of the audience, well, the class is for you, not for the audience. And like I was saying to you today, now that everything's becoming an online thing, people can take classes and not be worried about the fear of being seen and being exposed, I guess. But when this is all over, it should encourage you more to go to class more than ever, because you've achieved it on your own in your bedroom, behind closed doors, so you can achieve it in front of everybody else. I mean, plus at the end of the day, I taught an open class 2 weeks ago, and at the end of the class I said, why is everybody dancing like this is an audition? And not that I don't like that, but it wasn't a good thing. It was a nervous energy audition vibe, not everybody's thrashing it out because they want to book the job. It was everybody's scared shitless, so nobody's doing it really well because everybody doesn't want to look bad. And I said, guys, this isn't an audition, this is class.
I tell it's a pretty cool thing, I think, and I completely get the point that you're saying. But you know how you were thinking, as a choreographer, I would love to make that transition. People's energy in your class is telling you how people feel now.
I know, so I should just look at it like that. I know.
Well, I think that's actually a really cool thing now, and you I
couldn't even take it seriously. I was like, why is everyone treating me like a choreographer?
No, hang on, guys. No, I'm just here to do choreo, where they're all going, no, so if you're like legit, that's why we're nervous as hell. Because I think there might be a bit of an energy,
Well, it's nice. That's nice, but for me, I was trying to say...
Which is no way you would have thought of that at the time.
No, but to my kids, well, not my kids, my classroom, I was trying to say, you're not going to be a better dancer if that's the energy in your mind right now. You need to dance like there is no worry. I mean, some people thrive off that nervous energy though, and will only be good if they think it's an audition.
Yeah, I mean, so there were 2 girls that I'm working with under my placement agency for Click, and when Mitchell Woodcock's class came up, I said to him, that's an audition.
You have to go.
Well, that's an audition. When has Mitch ever had an audition? Once. Actually, no, he did, and it was only because a client asked him to do it. But in terms of Mitch sussing out that, I think, no, he had one before the cricket and all that. He had one then as well. But I'm like, he very rarely... because of his workload, he's not as consistent. But I said to those 2 girls, I've just gone, this is your modern day audition. So you get there looking shit hot, you get to the front, blah, blah, blah.
Well, even if it's not to be seen by Mitch, it's also to be seen by, to see the other people that are being booked by Mitch, or the other, like to go and look around and go, okay, so who does he like in the room and why does he like them?
And you don't know who's going to be in the room. I remember I did...
It's the best part about going to class.
Yeah, I did Shannon... Hotsoffle's class out at the next step, and
you had no idea who was going to turn up.
Well, no, I had no idea who was going to turn up, but I was going there because, again, my mindset at the time, I wasn't too phased if I was going. I just wanted to dance.
Yeah, and you knew that would be cool. Good. Yeah,
and I knew that I was like, I've been stinging for a class like this. Anyway, I went there, And there were a few of the dancers that we've taught at Eddinghausen's. I took a few of them in the car with me and a few people that I had from GB. And I was standing next to Mitch Woodcock, who was there, and I've just gone, you should look at that one. I've gone, look at that one, see how it goes. Next thing you know, she's booking film clips for him and all that type of thing. So sometimes
Well, that's how it works.
yeah, that's how it works. That's how, you know, a bit of a foot in the door and all that type of thing. But yeah. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But it's pretty cool to hear that someone who, is in our vintage is still hustling hard. But I hope you get out of this as well, just from that last little thing.
I know,
that people
right?
actually are recognising you a lot higher as a choreographer than what maybe you might take yourself. So
Well, like I said, in my head, there's so many other tiers above what I think I'm at already. So
yeah, my dad always says perception is reality, and that always hits home with me sometimes. And I think
so
how
true.
people perceive you, that's actually
that's the
where you're at.
reality, regardless to what I perceive myself as.
Yeah.
But the only reason maybe I perceive myself any less is because I'm so hardworking and I want to be the better version of me every day. The next day.
I rate that, Miss Holloway.
But I guess it's just like that.
I rate that, I rate you, but I
Cheers.
don't rate that our glasses are empty.
No,
so
me
I
either.
think I might go make another one of these, and
I would love
we can wrap this. You know what? I didn't even look at that camera once. Then normally I'm always checking the time.
Well, stop looking.
I that's the first time I'm actually looking at the camera. That's mad. You've done to me what I normally do. Anyway, let's cheers out empty glasses.
Cheers, darling.
Let's see this shit out.
Woo!
Laters.